Great day, fam. Coach Ty here, the People's Health and Wellness Coach. And I help working professionals and entrepreneurs 30 years and above to find their specific rhythm. That's juggling that 9 to 5 or their business, trying to find that specific rhythm with their workout regimen, shedding those extra pounds gained over the years, having time and energy for your family, for your friends, let alone yourself. By providing you with healthy habits, tips, tricks, and hacks so you can get back into those jeans you loved wearing but got tucked away in the back of your closet. Love and enjoy looking at yourself in the mirror again. Take that vacay you've been planning for months, even years now. And truly and honestly, be present with time and energy for yourself, for your loved ones, for your friends, and those things you love doing the most, but have been putting off for some time now. With your new and improved, better, balanced body. All right, guys, you know what time it is. It's another week of Set Boundaries Workbook with Miss Nedra Glover Tawab. And we're on chapter 7 now. Go ahead and get your books, your notebooks, your journals, your pens, your paper, whatever you write down, however you notate this thing. Let's get started. Go ahead and get it. Chapter 7 is titled Getting Better at Communicating Your Boundaries. In some relationships, we function with unhealthy behaviors for years. With unhealthy boundaries, well established, many of us are unsure how to shift once we become aware of the need for change. You don't have to remain the same when you know better. Here's a quote she put in here from Adam Grant. A hallmark of wisdom is knowing when it's time to abandon some of your most treasured tools and some of the most cherished parts of your identity. She goes on to say, one of my favorite phrases is until today, which is also the title of a book by Ayala Van Zandt. In my life, I interpret it as a meaning that even though I may have accepted something or engaged in certain habits for years, I can choose to stop now. There's no rule saying that we have to stay the same just because people expect us to never change. Throughout life, we go through so many changes. From childhood to adulthood, we experience countless shifts in interests and needs and how we respond when they're not being met. It makes sense because we're never finished evolving. Important reminder. Some of the people you have problematic relationships with will never change. When you accept people as they are, you can consciously decide if you want to continue in that relationship. If you aren't ready to leave a relationship, being aware of who others are will help you determine how you show up in that relationship. You have choices. You can be different, even if they won't change. Self-assessment. Are you prepared to set new boundaries in your existing relationships? Where are you currently functioning? Rate the statements below on a scale from 1 to 5 to describe where you are in your boundary journey. At the end, add up your total score. 1 is rarely, 2 is occasionally, 3 is frequently, 4 is most of the time, 5 is always. Again, the scale is 1 being rarely, 2 being occasionally, 3 being frequently, 4 being most of the time, and 5 being always. Here's the first one. I believe that healthy boundaries are important for relationships. Would you put 1 rarely, 2 occasionally, 3 frequently, 4 most of the time, or 5 always. I put 5. Number 2, I believe that I am entitled to have healthy boundaries in my relationships. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I put 5. Number 3, I believe that others are entitled to have healthy boundaries with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I put 5. Number 4, I'm comfortable communicating my limits and expectations to others. 1, being rarely. 2, occasionally. 3, frequently. 4, most of the time. 5, always. I put 4, most of the time. Number 5, worrying how others might respond impacts my ability to set healthy boundaries. I put 2, occasionally. Sometimes I think about it, and it depends on the people. It depends on the person or the people group that I'm setting these boundaries with, but I put 2, occasionally. I think about that. Number 6, I feel comfortable restating my boundaries to others. I put 4 most of the time, just because for some people it's just like, how many times do I got to repeat this thing? Some people it takes more than others, I will say. Some not that much. I mean, you can say it a few times and then they'll get it, but some a little harder than others, more difficult. But I put 4. I can choose to act in my best interest. 4 most of the time, I put. Number 8, people are aware of my needs. I put 2, occasionally, because I know I need to get better with this. Yes, Coach Todd needs to get better with some things. Yes, I'm human too. But I'm just used to doing everything myself, honestly, and so many things myself. And honestly, I just try not to burden people, or I don't like burdening people. So honestly, if I can do it myself, I do. I know I do need to work on this more though, because um, people should be aware of your needs. And like I stated in the previous chapter, it's okay to let that certain person or that certain people group that are trustworthy enough and that can, like on the boxes or the cancel packages that come in, handle with care, handle your emotions with care, handle you with care. You got to go to those people that they are trustworthy and they're not gonna make fun of you or take advantage of your boundaries or try to make you manipulate your own boundaries. Number 9, when my needs change, I communicate them. I put 2 as well, because same thing for number 8. People are aware of my needs. A lot of times I keep it to myself. And again, I know I need to get better with that. 10, I feel comfortable asking for support. Again, with 8 and 9, only this time I put rarely do I feel comfortable with asking for support, but that's also something that I know I need to work on. It's just, like I said previously, I unfortunately like to do everything myself, or not that I like to, it's just, one, I don't want to burden people, and 2, I have been burned in the past, and you ask somebody for help and then they say they're going to do it and not bring anything up, but then later on they bring it up and it's just like, well, if you didn't do it with your whole heart, then why did you do it? Just don't do it at all. That's how I am. If I'm going to help somebody or volunteer to help somebody, I normally don't bring it up. We both know about it, so why would I have to bring it up every time or every now and then? For what? I don't get the purpose of it, but everybody's different. Everybody's different. So the scoring is 41 to 50, means that you are healthy and secure in your practice and adhere to healthy boundaries. Refreshing or restating your boundaries isn't usually a challenge for you. Keep up the good therapeutic work. Scoring from 31 to 40 is you're doing a good job. Continue to improve on on the skills you have. The scoring from 21 to 30 is the application of this work is challenging to maintain. Sometimes you do a good job and other times you slack on the principles. Practice being more consistent and becoming more confident in your boundaries. Scoring 11 through 20, you struggle to understand and implement boundaries. Keep working through the exercises in this book, revisiting them as needed. Scoring 0 to 10, focus on gaining more fundamental or foundational skills, such as building boundaries, understanding the importance of having healthy expectations, and learning how to communicate your needs. Your journey has just begun. So again, you have to add everything up. My score was 34. So I'm between that 31 to 40 range. You guys, go through 1 through 10 and list, level 1 being rarely, 2 occasionally, 3 frequently, 4 most of the time, 5 always. Go through those 10 questions or those 10 statements and total everything up. And let me know what you guys come up with and what I can help with, what we can work on in the comments. Hey, I'm here to help. So, correcting boundary mishaps, implementing too many new things at once. Learning new information can make us excited to share what we've learned and put it into practice. Often we have so many new expectations that we attempt to share them all at once. But if you express too many of your needs at the same time, the other person will be unlikely to be receptive. The second mishap, stating the problem without sharing the solution. Instead of stating the boundary, perhaps you shared your issues. That's a step towards something, but it probably isn't clear enough to either express what you need or to actually say no. The next mishap, being aggressive. Perhaps you yelled, screamed, cursed, or berated someone because you wanted to be heard. Aggressiveness makes a bigger problem than the problem you're trying to solve. The next or the last mishap, being inconsistent. The key to getting people to respect your boundaries is consistency. When you are inconsistent in upholding your limits and expectations, people will be inconsistent in honoring them. Here's our first exercise, guys. In this exercise, identify a few scenarios when you experience a boundary mishap. Number 1, mishap. I listed being aggressive. This used to be some of my issues. So I put being aggressive. That's one of my mishaps. And I proceeded to say, when I first started on my setting healthy boundaries journey about 8 or 9 years ago now, because anger was my learned first emotion and helped me out in the past in major situations, I didn't know how to use my words when it came to being hurt or not being heard. So I would go to my first language, which was anger and aggression. I know it's hard to see now, but everybody got a pass. But yeah, mine was anger and aggression. But after much counseling and therapy, I learned that that wasn't the way, and it wasn't healthy or good for any party involved, to include myself. The outcome following that mishap, it would lead to toxic and huge arguments that resulted in some diminished relationships. At times, it led to physical altercations that I'm not proud of, but I was younger and was in a lot of internal pain. That saying, hurt people, is so, so true. And it's sad at the same time. I was that hurt person. And so that was my first language. The corrective action. Again, lots of counseling and therapy that help with internal and some physical issues. Now I can use my words and have tools to keep me from getting upset quickly. I'm also comfortable with stating my healthy boundaries and my limits and my expectations. There's still work to do on my end, but things are much, much better and much smoother now that I have tools from therapy and I'm willing to state my boundaries and stick to them. The second mishap was I had an issue with being inconsistent with my boundaries. So, also, when I first started on this journey, I was inconsistent, but not with outsiders. Nah, of course, it's never outsiders, right? It was always harder with family and friends for me. Now, that's just for me. It was easy for me to set boundary with outsiders. I didn't even think anything of it, to be honest. It's the ones that know you the best and the deepest that seem to test you and your word the most. The outcome following this mishap, most of the times it would, like the earlier mishap, it would lead to me going immediately to anger and aggression, which, as I stated earlier, never turned out well. Action, the same corrective action as the previous mishap with being aggressive. A lot of therapy and a lot of counseling. And now, like I said, I can use my words and now I can boldly state my healthy boundaries without getting aggressive or getting upset. Or now I have tools that can calm me down and internal tools that I use to this day continuously, sometimes daily, just to foster healthier relationships. And just, because I want better relationships, especially at this time in my life. That's all I want is healthy relationships, healthy boundaries. The other stuff, that's in the past. I don't have time for unhealthy, toxic relationships. I just don't. And I choose not to take that time. But that's just me. Life is short, man. If we haven't learned anything, especially with this pandemic, life is short and it's precious. It is, man. We got to make sure to use our energy and our time wisely and as precious as time is, because that's one commodity that none of us can pay for. We can't get time back. Once it's gone, it's gone. So for me, I want it to be healthy. I want it to be nourishing and nurturing the relationships that I have and foster now and the new ones that are coming in the future. I want them to be healthy. That's it. I want to be more healthier. I am healthy and I'm going to continue my healthy journey, my health and wellness journey, even with, breath work and meditation that I do weekly now with the veteran group that I belong to. Breath and meditation work, just in constant daily devotion, daily meditation, just being in a healthy body, mind, spirit set. The next section says shifting gears. If you allow your boundaries to be violated because you're afraid or uncomfortable, you will continue suffering. When you're ready to implement new boundaries, do so slowly. Start slow and address one item at a time. It's often helpful to start with the issue that troubles you the most. Prioritize the important boundaries first. And once you've been successful with one, move on to the next one. Let's take a look at some critical boundary areas. Think of something that has been allowed to occur for a long time and decide what boundary you'd like to set to change that situation. Remember to start your statement with, I want, I need, I expect, or I will say no to. Again, remember to start your statement with, I want, I need, I expect, or I will say no to. So romantic relationships, This is just what I put. For too long now, I've held back in letting my romantic partner know that I need help or support, as I stated in the last chapter, with something or certain things. I'm now a little more comfortable with saying I need help. I know I still need to work on this. I will say it helps now that I'm with someone that loves me wholeheartedly and without judgment and can finally be my authentic self with. And I'm so much more comfortable with saying that I need help with the person that I'm with now. So much more comfortable. And I can be my authentic self. It's great. It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. I love you, baby. So in friendships, I'm much better at telling my friends. I don't have many, but the ones I do have are more like siblings and more than they are friends. But I'm better at telling them as well what I need, want, and expect after getting past setting boundaries initially 8 or 9 years ago now. Work or school. I most definitely need more work on stating what I want and need at times at work and school, as I tend to pile on my plate with my duties and others' duties in order to get things accomplished. That's, I guess, a blessing and a curse for me, because I'm willing to take on so much in other people's responsibilities, which have burned me sometimes, I'm going to be honest, and have made me burn out a lot of times. So I'm working on that, but continue what I'm saying. Also, just because I'm such a team player, I tend to volunteer or not to say no as much at work or at school as I know that I should. Especially when I have personal problems, I still overload myself at work and school. Even if my boss or professor asks me if I need help or is anything wrong, I just pretty much grin and bear it and tell them I'm good. I'm good. Isn't that such a loaded thing to say? We know what that means. Normally, when we say, "Oh, I'm good," you're not good. Just be honest. And I have everything under control, even when I'm crumbling sometimes inside. But I've been working on that more and more lately. There's more work to be done, but guess what? God ain't through with me yet. So, still working on it. Still working on it, guys. Hey, like I said, I'm human too. Family relationships. Let's see. I've gotten much better with stating my wants, needs, and expectations with family. Though there are still some that I need to work on and be more consistent with stating my wants, needs, and expectations. As I stated previously, hey, there's still some that I know I still need to work on. Social media. Nah, I'm good on that, to be honest. With my boundaries with social medias, first of all, it took me a long time to do this whole social media thing. I'm gonna be honest, it did. But I will say that even before I started doing the social media thing for my business, I did learn from the gurus that it's best to have a time limit, a specific date and time, and having an allotted time to get on social media, whether it's to post or respond or something like that. Because we all know social media, it can become addictive, and it has become addictive to a lot of people. So with me, social media honestly isn't a problem. But the others, family relationships and school and work, still got to work on those. Um, the next session says refresh your boundaries as needed. We don't stay the same, and neither do our needs in relationships. As you change and become more self aware, it makes sense that what you need or don't want will change. In 2020, the world experienced an unprecedented shift caused by COVID-19. Many people had to adjust their boundaries and expectations during this time. Home became the hub for work, school, exercise, and so much more. Ain't that the truth? And if you shared space with others, accommodating everyone was an additional stressor. Blah, blah. Restructuring boundaries in the pandemic is how many people were able to survive. The three C's, she says: clear, concise, consistent. And man, I heard these words so much when I was going to therapy and counseling, especially when I went through this specific therapy called equestrian therapy. It's when you're working with horses and stuff like that, which are such majestic animals. I love horses to this day. I mean, I can't wait to get back on the equestrian farm just because you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Actually, while I'm talking about it, research, Google, guys, equestrian therapy. I promise you it will change your life. It will. It changed mine because there's certain movements in certain ways that animals speak, especially horses, that in an odd way, they mirror you. It's crazy. I know. It sounds like an animal. Really, Coach Shaw? Come on now. I'm so serious. I don't know how this happened. I can't even really explain it, but I promise you, just research, Google equestrian therapy, and find the nearest one you can. If you're struggling with any type of issues, honestly, mental, emotional, physical, I'm telling you, I mean, they have a lot of service for veterans. I know that one that I went to in North Carolina, man, they were top notch. It's called Triple Play Farm. Triple Play Farm. The word triple play farm all together. Shout out to Chris. Thank you. Thank both of you guys so much. Chris, my therapist, and Chris, the equestrian farm owner. Her family was phenomenal. They are still phenomenal. I still keep in contact with them, but they are great and they help me tremendously. And I thank you guys for your help. Seriously, man, you guys are the reason why I'm so much better in a better mental state to this day, to be honest, man. I love it. But equestrian therapy, guys, check that out. I promise you, it'll change your life. It changed mine. But anyway, the three C's: clear, concise, consistent. I heard those all the time. To ensure that you're setting effective boundaries, ask yourself these questions. Number one, was my boundary clear? Were they paying attention? Did I state what I needed, say no, or set a limit? Number two, was the boundary concise? Did I over explain myself or use complicated language? Three, did I follow through on the boundary? How am I upholding my boundary? Pause. COVID-19 was shocking and impactful. Take a few moments to be mindful before moving on to the next exercise, which addresses the impact of the pandemic on our relationships and ourselves. So this exercise is titled COVID-19 Changed the Way We Viewed the World. First question is, how did the pandemic impact you most? So for me, this is what I put. It reminded me how precious and short life was and is, especially with the amount of family, friends, and classmates that are no longer here because of this craziness. It also showed me how much I need to do a better job at stopping and smelling the roses and embracing and enjoying the here and now. Because there will be there, but here and now will only be here for a moment. And I and we don't want to miss it, nor do we want to continue missing it. Also, I have to get much better at self-love and self-care. I'm great at helping others with this, but I have to and need to and will get better at it and with this. It is now and will forever be mandatory for all of us, for self-love and self-care, guys. And like I stated before, giving yourself grace and mercy when, maybe you don't do as much self-love and self-care as you should. There's always another day, another moment. So take that in consideration and try to do it better the next day or the next moment. Don't wait till the next day. Try once you know or feel in your heart that, man, I didn't love on myself today, or I didn't care for myself today. And yes, it should be a daily thing. Life is too short, man. If we haven't figured out this, especially after this chaos, this pandemic, life is short and it's precious. We gotta love on ourselves. We gotta care for ourselves, and we gotta love and care for people. We gotta be better at that. We never know when our last day is or when their last day is. None of us can control that at all. We may want to, but we can't. So we gotta do better at that, guys. We really do. I included. That's why I say we. Next question. Did the pandemic change your relationship with others? If so, how? I put yes because I realized, as I stated earlier, that I need to stop and smell the roses more and indulge in more self-love and self-care. In doing that, I've started saying no more. And honestly, it was long overdue for some relationships. Some got offended and told me how unreasonable I was, and others understood. And then there was that few that celebrated me and embraced me. And the fact that I'm choosing myself and saying no more, and that I'm slowly taking time off for R&R. For them, I am truly, truly thankful. And you know who you are. It even brought a huge smile on my face. Honestly, just filling out this section, thinking about it. Because who they are and how much they care for me and care about me. The next question is, what were some new limits you set with yourself and others during this time? Me saying no more and when needed. Me working with taking time off, whether a mental health day or just R&R for a few days or just a day or a week. And I've been learning how to do that more and more. It's still a bit uncomfortable, I have to be honest, because I'm just used to always working and helping and volunteering and just being there. But honestly, guys, that's not healthy. It's not. I dare say that's not even true sacrifice. I know some people be like, oh, yeah, putting others before yourself, that is true sacrifice. Is it really, though? It's not. That's a lie that people have told us. And that's a lie that we have accepted over the years. But if you don't correct it, it could ruin your health and unfortunately even lead to death. Because stress kills, guys. It does. Stress kills, high blood pressure kills. All of this, man, it can kill you. Or it can incapacitate you. It could put you in the hospital. Unfortunately, I've been there twice, unfortunately. And I'm making sure not to go back again. Not for that. Not for overworking and overstressing myself and burning myself out. When all I can do is simply honor myself and love on myself more and care for myself more and say no when I know I need to say no. Saying no more actually helps you and everyone else included, even those that are directly depending on you. Saying no helps because it gives you more time, it gives you more energy, it gives you time to rest and restore and rejuvenate so that you can be there for yourself and for people. You can honestly be present Like I say in my intro, honestly, be present with time and energy for yourself, for your loved ones, for your friends, and those things you love doing the most but have been putting off for some time now. We got to get back to that, man. We got to be healthy for ourselves and for the people who are dependent on us. The people who are dependent on us now and the people who will depend on us in the future. We have to be a healthier version of ourselves with a better balanced body. Better balanced body. You guys know why I say that? Mind, body, and spirit balanced all together as one. It's a rhythm and the flow we got to catch, guys, so we can be the healthier, better version of ourselves with that new and improved, better balanced body. Let's go. Let's get it. So the next section says you can clean up your mess. Perhaps you missed the opportunity to speak up in a specific circumstance, or you said too much. There's still time to be more efficient. I encourage you to use what we talked about thus far. Go back, load it with new information, and set new boundaries. You may not always get it right, but thank goodness there's a next time. Clean up the mess you may have made and apologize if necessary. You didn't know what you didn't know. Practice what you've learned going forward and don't be afraid to go back and fix things. We're at the end, guys. How you know? How you know? Tell me. Gather yourself. So she says, repeat the following affirmation. I may not always get it right because being human doesn't require being perfect. Let me say it again for the people in the back. I may not always get it right because being human doesn't require being perfect. None of us are perfect, guys. We're just human. We all just trying to make it day by day. That's it. That's it. What came up for you while going through this chapter? So I was reminded that I haven't taken enough time to even try to stop and smell the roses until unfortunately now that we've been in this pandemic for pretty much 3 years now. I want to reiterate for all of us extra selfless folks, those of us always overpiling our plates, always giving everything till there's no more gas, even past our last, even until we're all drained, can barely hold up our heads, can barely get out of bed because we've given so much of ourselves. Stop it right now. Right now, guys, stop it. It's time for real self-love, real self-care, self-boundary setting. Time is now. Start saying no more. Start taking breaks from everyone, even work, so you can start replenishing yourself. Start filling your cup. Well, of course, let God fill your cup first, but also do your part and fill your own cup as well. Whatever that looks like, whether a spa day or a spa weekend, 1 week or at least a few days off from work, and go on vacation, even if it's just, the next city over. You can always do a staycation. Or maybe you tell your mate to take care of the kids for an hour or two per day. Remember, daily self-care and daily self-love, guys. So you can fill your cup. Whatever you do, It's time for you to let God fill your cup up, and it's time for you to take the reins and learn how to fill up your own cup as well. Because if you're down and out or sick, or prayerfully not, but if you leave this earth, what are the folks that are dependent on you going to do? Just sit and think about that for real, guys. If you get sick in the hospital or sick down and out, even in your home, and you can't take care of anybody because you're sick, but everybody's dependent on you, what are they going to do? If you sick, or unfortunately, prayerfully not though, praying that this does not happen, but, or if you leave this earth because you burned yourself and you wore yourself down so bad and stressed yourself out so much and didn't ask for help, or didn't take that time to ask for that time off, to take a break, to love on yourself, to restore yourself, to fill up your own cup. Think about that. What will they do? Remember, there's only one of you. So make sure to regularly fill your cup at all costs into any end, no matter what. One, let God fill up your cup, or whatever your higher being is. Mine is God. And two, take the reins and fill up your cup yourself. Like the saying goes, quiet mouths don't get fed. Well, quiet mouths also don't get rest. They also can't restore and rejuvenate, and can't have that full energy and be present for themselves, for the family, for everybody else. Fill your cup up, guys. Seriously. It's mandatory. It's a must now. Because if we haven't learned anything else with this pandemic, man, life is short and life is precious. It is, man. We got to take it more seriously. We got to love on ourselves more. We got to be more healthier for ourselves and for our family, for our community, for the people that we love, for the people that depend on us. We have to learn how to be that better, healthier version of ourselves with a better balanced body. Balance, mind, body, and spirit. Again, guys, Coach Ty, the People's Health and Wellness Coach, and I'm here to help, guys. I'm here to help where I can and how I can. I love you guys. Take care. Much peace and blessings and grace and mercy to you guys your way. Remember, fill your cup first so that you can help others. What do they say even when we get on a plane? When the altitude goes crazy and that mask comes down, put it on yourself first. I know it sounds crazy instinctively, especially if you're a helper and you're that selfless person. You want to help them first and then help yourself. But no. If you're not healthy and if you don't help yourself first, you cannot help the next person. You can't. You're drained. You're burnt out. You don't have the energy. Fill your cup, guys. Fill your cup first so that you can fill others. Again, make sure to share, like, subscribe. Put those comments in, guys. Whatever questions you guys have, whatever I can help with, whatever you guys want to go over again, let me know. Put those comments in. Again, Coach Ty here, the People's Health and Wellness Coach, and I'm here to help. Much peace, blessings, grace, and mercy your way, guys. Love you guys. Have a good week.